Great. Hi, everyone. Good evening. Welcome to the introductory session of ABC Conclave Hackathon. And I am Shweta. I'll be your host for today. So let's start with what ABC Conclave is about, and then we'll move forward with what this hackathon is all about, what you have to build, what are the rewards that are waiting for you, and so on. So, those of you who might not have an idea till now, ABC is the world's largest Web3 conclave, and it consists of global convergence of all Web3 enthusiasts, blockchain experts, digital asset visionaries from every corner of the world. And currently, they are set to make their second wave in Dubai as well as Bangkok this year, where you will get a chance to dive into an immersive journey featuring many Web3 conferences, competitive gaming, transformative networking opportunities, and some blockchain driven hackathons. And this is what this session is about. Um, how you can participate in the ABC hackathon, what is the timeline, what are the certain solutions that you can build to make it to the top teams, and what are certain awards that are waiting for you. So first, let's talk about the timeline. So currently, we are in the registration as well as the prototype submission phase. So you can visit our website, for which we will be sharing a link in the comment section soon, and can simply it's a one step process. You can click on register now button and simply register yourself. As soon as you will register, you will land on your dashboard, which will take you through certain steps through which you can submit your prototype. One step before submitting the prototype is forming a team of 1 to 4 members. And we'll always suggest that you go for at least 2 members in your team so that it increases your chances of winning. Then the registration as well as the idea submission round closes on 21st of September. So make sure whatever prototype or product that you are building or whatever idea you may have as of now, you submit it before 21st of September. Then we will also be conducting some mentor mentee sessions with our top teams. So let's say you are shortlisted in our top 50 or top 60 teams, then you will also get a chance to connect with the industry leaders who are experts in Web3 and blockchain domain, and you will have a chance to get on with them as during one-on-one sessions where they will help you in um, providing you feedback so that you can improve your prototypes, your ideas, so that which in turn increase your chances of getting shortlisted. And then after the feedback that you will receive from the mentors and the leaders, you will get a chance to submit your prototype again after making the changes if any are required. And the final submission that you can make after receiving the feedback is 26th of September. So this is what the timeline looks like, and we will have the grand finale, which will be online on 30th of September, where the top 10 teams will present, and we'll have the winner. So as of now, what rewards exist are you will get credits from two major, blockchain and Web3 domain experts. One is SolidityScan and one is Quill Audits. So you will get credits from them. Apart from that, you will get ABC Conclave VIP passes. When I say VIP passes, I mean that there are going to be some investors launch in the conferences. One of them is happening in Dubai during 11th to 12th of October, and one of them is happening in Bangkok during 7th and 8th of November. So not only you will get passes to attend the conferences and other workshops and everything that is going on there, but also you will get VIP access to the investors launch, where you can present your idea, you can talk to the investors, and you can get funding opportunities for your maybe already existing product or prototype or anything that you are presenting. Apart from that, we also have some cash prizes and some more prizes coming for the top teams that are on their way, and you'll get notified soon, but most probably by the end of this week. Now, coming to the problem statements, we have a very special guest speaker with us, Rohan from the Hack to Skill team. He is our product manager, and he will take you through the tech aspect of the hackathon, like what the problem statements are around, what you can build, what are the certain use cases that may help you in building a better solution. So, Rohan, over to you.
Thank you so much, Shweta. Thank you. So I'd like to firstly start by saying a very warm good evening or good afternoon to everyone present. So moving on to the very first problem statement we have, and it's something which is very near and dear to my heart because I am really enthusiastic about tech and blockchain in general, and I believe gaming has been a huge part of our lives some point in our childhood, right? So this problem statement, beautifully blends the two worlds together. Now, just looking at the points mentioned in the slide or in general, you might think, and the most basic idea that might come to your mind is somehow integrating NFTs into your project, and that is a good way to start. Actually, that is a perfect way to start coming up with a gaming project or some NFT project that can be integrated into a game, because we all know that how much popular knife skins and gun skins and all of those things are in games like CS:GO, Valorant, and this is something just for which people, without even them being NFTs, end up paying hundreds and thousands of dollars. So having the concept of digital ownership will only enhance and increase the experience for all of them, right? But that's just one thing that comes in the mind, right? But with blockchain, the possibilities are endless. So you can also create a play to earn environment, right? So maybe as and when player play, normally what happens is that in a game they are only rewarded with experience points. But if they play your game, they can maybe be rewarded by the whatever the in-game currency is, which can then be traded on market for actual money, or maybe for some other in-game things that can then be sold for actual money, right? So again, with gaming especially, I believe we'll be going down other blockchain avenues as well, but with gaming I believe that the possibilities truly are endless, because gamers and the community of gamers always want something new. There when AR and VR was booming, they were totally into that, and blockchain is something that I don't think will easily go away. So the possibilities are completely endless. Like, just to give you another idea, historically speaking, crowd funded games have always been done through websites like Kickstarter or GoFundMe, where people request folks to pledge certain amount, and in return of that they get certain perks and benefits. But imagine building a DAO. So now you have a decentralized autonomous organization which is building that game, and instead of people pledging certain amount and you giving them certain perks, they get to own a certain percentage of that game. They get to decide what kind of features they want in a game. Gaming as it is a very community driven practice, and there's a huge global community for it. So imagine game development itself being fueled and driven by community through a DAO. So the possibilities truly are endless here, and obviously, building a large scale end to end full fledged solution itself might not be very possible, because developing a game itself is very challenging, let alone a game backed by blockchain. That's why I said that thinking big is fine and all, but something as simple as integrating NFTs and creating a value out of that within an existing game, or creating something that can add value to games if they happen to or want to adopt it, will be more than good enough as a solution and would work as well. So no need to feel too stressed to make something very end to end. Something very simple, something that just works would be more than enough, right? And yeah, that's all I have to add here. Moving on to AI in blockchain, again, it's almost like two buzzwords being used together. With the advent of Gen AI, the AI boom has happened all over again, and blockchain again has always been uh, in the market, right? So AI and blockchain, I believe, are like yin and yang. They can help solve each other's problems. So with blockchain, right, even though it brings transparency, it brings a lot of things to the table. One of the biggest issues with blockchain is that unfortunately it's been used for a lot of nefarious purposes as well. So what I mean by that is that in the past 2 3 years, you'll see that there have been startups like Tornado Cash, wherein the founder was then seized, arrested, whatever. And the thing is that all of these things give sometimes blockchain, which is a really great technology, a bad rep. But what AI can do is help mend that thing. So through AI, not only we can fill in the gaps in blockchain, we can also enhance it. Now, what I mean by that is, like, imagine creating a fraud detection system which senses a trend in certain blockchain. If we feed it a ledger, a blockchain ledgers, and show it the transaction saying that this ledger has certain transactions happening at a very high frequency, then maybe through AI we can actually sense those transactions out and detect fraud at a very early time. Because the thing with blockchain is, since everything is public, once fraud is detected, it'll be very easy to trace it back to the person, right? Uh, so AI can really help empower fraudulent transactions or attacks. And the next big thing AI can help with is that, and I strongly believe it in, is one more thing that people hold against blockchain is it's not friendly. The server costs used to fuel blockchain are counterintuitive to what we are trying to achieve. But through AI, we have already seen, right, that GitHub Copilot and all of these things are helping people write very efficient and smart code. So why cannot the same be done for writing smart contracts? If we are able to write smart and efficient contracts using AI, and we can leverage AI to write better smart contracts, write better and more eco-friendly blockchain code, that can not only help us reduce the carbon footprint being caused by blockchain, but also help in contributing to a more carbon positive environment in general as well. So these are two things I believe which can go hand in hand. And again, with AI, the and blockchain, the possibilities are endless. You can create a marketplace that is AI driven based on blockchain. You can create an HR management tool in which all the employees are mentioned on a ledger in blockchain, and then AI is used to see whether anything or everything is taken care of, because AI is just a correctional tool which enhances the pitfalls that are in blockchain very easily. So, and last and not the least is that cryptocurrency, right? The one of the first use cases of blockchain that was discovered was through cryptocurrencies. So even though it is not directly related to using AI to blockchain, but historically speaking, AI-based models have been used extensively for trading conventional stocks and have been used very heavily in conventional stock markets. But what sets conventional stock markets apart from crypto is that crypto markets have turned out to be way more volatile than our conventional and older markets, that is the conventional stock market. So the challenge is, can we build a POC, can we build a prototype that can adapt to how crypto markets function, how crypto markets work? Because even now, like, high frequency trading exists as a concept, right? Where a computer generated program, a computer program, and AI makes not hundreds but thousands of calls, put calls, and all of those calls in a second, right? So if the concept of high frequency trading can exist in our traditional market, why cannot it exist in blockchain as well? And I'm pretty sure a lot of companies would be doing that as well. But for us here, it's a way to not only be able to foray into it, but also come up with a more unique and innovative solution that can hopefully become more widely adopted as well in the coming future. Quickly moving on. So again, coming back to health, health tech. So health tech again, right? Health tech has always been a very sensitive issue, right? Because uh, the data of patients is very sensitive. I'd never want my family's data to be leaked online, right? And be it any health record for anything. Because the last thing I want is that someone in my family is going through some trouble and I'm getting diabetes ads or XYZ ads. It's not a very sensitive thing to do. So that's a huge issue, like, right? The integrity of data in the medical field is compromised very often. Very often, I'll see that I just go to one health clinic or maybe some place I go to, and I end up getting a lot of follow-up Instagram ads. I'm getting a lot of follow-up calls, random spam calls asking for health insurance and whatnot, right? So there's certainly some way the data is being compromised. Now, we don't know who the culprit is or what the culprit is, but through blockchain, since everything will be on a public ledger, right? It'll be much easier for us to see what exactly has what and who is accessing the data and how they are using it, how they are not using it. So first and foremost, the biggest thing is transparency. Next, the patients will have more sense of ownership over their records. What I mean by that is, till date, I am sure a lot of you must have gone through a lot of, at least done 3 4 blood tests, right? and I'm pretty sure maybe one X-ray or one some other test. If I ask you to present all of those records in a single place, would you be able to do that today? It's a very huge challenge for you, right? You'll be at a loss. And now again, you'll say that why can't I keep it in some online portal? Why blockchain is required? What's the merit in keeping it there, right? Why blockchain is required? So again, the answer is simple. Blockchain lends you the control of who you want to share that data with. So not only is it a ledger for you to keep everything, store everything, record everything in an immutable way so that no one can tamper with it, but at the same time, it is also allowing you to have a finite amount of control as to who has access to it because of the secure nature of blockchain. And just imagine the revolution we can bring via health tech in the field of law, because we know, right, in even in legal field, a lot of the times health related reports play a huge role. A lot of the times intoxication reports for drunk and drive cases, all of those things need to be shown, right? But it's very easy to get them, forged, not share the right one. But imagine if there exists a system in which everything has to exist on blockchain. So the only way something falsified goes on blockchain is if someone actually uploads something falsified. Once something exists on blockchain, it cannot be changed. That is one of the another big assets, I believe, that blockchain can bring to health tech. And just to top it off and end it correctly, is marketplace as well, right? In India, the concept of in India, every drug is countertop, right? Because when we talk about US, when we talk about any other country, getting access to medicines, getting access to anything which is not countertop is highly illegal, right? You cannot get access to those via prescription. But in India, it's highly unregulated. Now, there can be a lot of reasons for it. I'm no expert in that, but what I see happening is that if a marketplace or a healthcare service for it is built on blockchain, right, we can track people abusing this, non-countertop trend that exists within our system. Because currently, even in the medical, like netmeds and all, people are asked to upload a prescription, but they can still order any and anything they want. And there's no reliable way for someone to track all the transactions. You can set up a fake profile, you can set up everything, and you can get away with a lot by just ordering medicines to random addresses. There's nothing that ties you down definitely to your account. But what blockchain ensures is that if you are on blockchain and you are buying something or purchasing something, that record is always tied to you. And whenever you try to take the money out or anything out through a publicly available platform like maybe Binance or something, through their KYC portal, you'll always end up revealing who or what organization you are. So there's always this sense of inherent transparency that exists, which helps, which in past has fueled a lot of illegal behavior, but now is also can help curb the same behavior and same tendencies that exist. So I think that the amount of work that can be done in the field of health tech through blockchain is just off the roofs. Yeah, quickly moving on. Climate again. I had already talked very briefly about that. So a lot of people say that, right, the biggest complaint about the whole Bitcoin boom was that the amount of resources, the electricity that goes into generating Bitcoins uh, is very, very detrimental to, the environment. Like a lot of people even made the argument that people say that printing paper money is more sustainable than actually, minting Bitcoins. There was this whole discussion as well. And a lot of climate activists still believe, rightly or wrongly, I'm no one to pass that judgment, that there are still some demerits within the Web3 technology as whole, and it still has a long way to go before it becomes viable, at least speaking from a climate perspective. But what I believe is that the solution for it, obviously, as the technology progresses and becomes more refined, more better, things will obviously change for the better. But even things are now, I think Web3 itself holds, the solution to the problem that people often blame it for. So currently, there exist a lot of companies that sell carbon tokens, right? All huge companies are expected to, track their carbon footprint, and based on that, if they don't have the proper carbon footprint usage, they have to pay a certain amount of tax because they ended up using more natural resources than they were expected to. And there's a huge black market for buying these carbon tokens on black. There just exist a lot of companies that procure these carbon tokens and sell them to other companies for black. And this whole mafia that exists that a lot of people are not aware of. It's not something which is very prevalent or talked about, but it definitely does exist. So blockchain itself can help transparently track carbon credit tokenization. I understand it might sound a little counterintuitive, but there exists, fortunately or unfortunately, a place where we need to track something like carbon credits in the first place, irrespective of existence of blockchain or not, right? And now that it already exists and there's some sort of a shady business going around that as well, if blockchain can solve it, that's more than welcome. And another thing is that the same DAO based thing I asked, right? It's very common for a lot of organizations to raise money for a certain natural cause, right? Maybe removing plastic from the coastline of Maharashtra, let's say. But who's holding me accountable for that? No one's holding me accountable. Once the money has been donated, I don't think I'll ever be able to tell the difference between what Maharashtra, the coastline of Maharashtra looked today and what it looks like 6 months after, right? But what blockchain brings to table is a sense of inherent ownership. It's almost same as buying a share into the company and attending its shareholder meetings, right? But with shares, you can only do it for companies. But what blockchain does it, you can do for anything, literally a NGO driven drive as well. So you can buy a piece of, blockchain, a piece of token into a DAO. You can buy into a DAO whose sole purpose is to, let's say, clean the coast of Maharashtra, right? And by the nature of DAO, you'll be based on how much you have bought in, you'll be able to make informed and decisions, and you'll be able to make public driven decisions that drive the climate tech forward. Because I believe that to make any positive change, right, it does not, one person cannot do that, cannot bring about that positive change by themselves. It takes a community to bring about that positive change, and blockchain through a decentralized community helps us enable that. So these are just few ideas I've given. Again, I don't want to give overlapping ideas through the whole problem statements. The ideas I've given in health tech sort of translate vaguely into this as well. Anyhow, quickly moving on to media. So media, I believe, again, is one such place where there's a lot of scope for blockchain to do a lot of good. So one of the biggest use cases I think of is that you might be aware that YouTube has a content ID system where anything uploaded on internet, they tag it with a content ID. And if it's illegal or something, through that content ID, we can take it down very easily. But what is not possible currently is who uploaded or re-uploaded that illegal material. If there exists a system on blockchain, this is a very high level idea I'm giving just so the creative juices can get flowing, right? But if there was a way, if there was a blockchain ledger where we could track from where that content ID related material was uploaded, we could easily track and take care of not only intellectual property rights but also combat fake news, misinformation, and curb all of these sick things that are spread after a tragedy happens. And I don't need to go into detail. We are all aware of what happens on the internet whenever any sort of tragedy happens. So being able to hold people accountable behind such things is a very empowering thought and fact. And outside of that as well, what blockchain helps us do is that empower the creators. There used to be a platform called DLive. It was completely blockchain driven live streaming platform which would directly let a P2P, peer-to-peer connection happen between the live streamers and the people contributing. Now, it shut down due to various reasons, but I just believe the time was not right. You have to be at the right time at the right place. So ensuring a fair compensation through smart contracts so that creators are not cheated out of the money they are owed. a lot of the time it happens that a creator does a brand deal or something, and then they're not paid the money in full, or they're paid a partial amount, and then they have to make a lot of follow-ups. So I believe not only it empowers creators, but it also empowers the people who are actually part of the video itself by curbing the fake news, the misinformation, and just the whole immutable nature of it. Once something is there, it is there. There is no way to take down that information. A lot of the time when a news is reported, PR campaigns are launched to take down that news if it's against someone in power, right? But with blockchain that won't be possible. So again, it's a lot of good that can be done in media, and the simplest way to start would be maybe by combating fake news, maintaining a ledger in which people can rate articles and things as fake or not. There exist Chrome extensions like this as well. You can take inspiration from that to build a product of your own, and that would be a great place to start here. The possibilities are endless. And finally, right, I know there's one more track as well, but problem statement 6 is as close to open innovation as you can get without actually it being labeled open innovation. What I mean by that is, I had mentioned, right, with AI that there are tools like Tornado Cash, which were basically used for laundering. They were not supposed to be the purpose for laundering, but had been used for the purposes of laundering, right? So with blockchain, there has been a lot of bad things, bad actors who have done a lot of ingenious but bad things with blockchain. But it's high time we do ingenious and good things with blockchain, right? And that is using all the data that is aggregated for maybe crypto analysis, so that we can track from where cryptocurrency is being transacted from. So what I mean by that is, let's say if I'm doing a transaction on some DeFi portal, or if I'm doing a transaction on some blockchain portal, right? The user should, and then I'm maybe splitting the money into 3 other wallets. Then I'm from one wallet, I'm sending it to some other place, then to some other place, and I'm just trying to make people lose the trail of that money, right? So crypto analysis tools can help track that money and hold me accountable if I'm trying to pull one over the authorities or someone in general. There exist few blockchain visualization and crypto analysis tools. They've been extensively used, especially, I'm not sure how many of you are very familiar with the Sam Bankman-Fried case, who was the guy who was owner of one of the biggest crypto startups. Unfortunately, yeah, whatever happened to him had happened. But the thing is that whatever he did with crypto, the thing used to curb him was also done through crypto. So when people fixate themselves on bad things being done in crypto, my response always is, all the bad things being done in crypto have been curbed or have been brought to justice using crypto itself as a technology, as an antidote. And this particular problem statement empowers you to come up with tools that can help analyze data, trends, anything, data sets, distributed data sets, that can help create more tools, or that can become a tool themselves to do crypto analysis or gather any meaningful insight from the blockchain networks, right? And finally, open innovation, right? The possibilities in blockchain are endless. Me just rambling on for 20 minutes, I was able to come up with so many things. So what you guys can do, my imagination can't even reach there, right? Collectively, what you guys can think of, what you guys can do, the possibilities are completely endless, right? So I'm just one person here speaking. So, and the biggest thing is that we don't want you to feel restricted to, let's say, working only in edtech, because I strongly believe that there was a web boom, and startups like Google, Facebook, Yahoo came, right? And then there was the boom of applications, mobile apps. After iOS and Android came, then apps like Uber, Swiggy, Zomato, Ola boom. And I strongly believe that this is now the age of blockchain. And by restricting you all to those 6 categories, we may be stopping you from creating the next big thing, the next big Web3 application that can be at par with the giants of the mobile application boom, or the web application boom. I strongly believe Web3 is the future, and this track will help give you the full-fledged uh, openness to tackle any problem, any multitude of problems through means of blockchain and Web3. Yeah. So that's actually all I have to add.
Great. Thank you so much, Rohan. Next, are you open to take up some queries from our participants that we have been receiving for the last 20 minutes, and maybe then we can close this session?
Sure.
Great. So, can we have one of the recent questions on the screen? Yes. What are some of the ways to utilize blockchain for transparent and fair ad revenue distribution?
Yeah. So I'm glad this question is asked. The very simple and straightforward answer is smart contracts. And now uh, this issue can not only be solved using smart contracts. I also remember sharing that through AI we can make smart contracts themselves, more efficient and more eco-friendly. So just by tackling this problem, you are actually be solving two problem statements within our hackathon itself. So yeah, I actually believe that uh, the perfect place for to start for this would be using smart contracts to see what can be done or what cannot be done.
Okay, great. Thank you. Next, we can have one second.
Yeah.
How can blockchain technology be used to combat misinformation and ensure content authenticity in the media industry?
Cool. I'm happy. Yeah. So regarding the misinformation fact, right? So what makes blockchain powerful is, right, the decentralized nature of it empowers each and everyone part of that blockchain network equally. No one is special, right? No one holds more power. Not to, let's not to take, let's say I own a social media like Twitter, right? If I want anyone's opinion to be heard, if I don't want anyone's opinion to be heard, I have that power. There's recently been a case in US Congress where they are now suing Facebook over tampering of election related news and results back in 2020, right? So I don't know what happened. I'm not a US citizen, I'm a citizen of India, but seeing these things, I can see how and why a technology like blockchain is required and has become a need of the hour, because we never know what's happening behind our backs, and we as citizens of any country have the right to have an equal say and equal share in whatever is being done. So through blockchain, if something is labeled as being a misinformation, or if a content ID system flags something as being misinformation, and then someone else is uploading it, we can hold the person distributing misinformation, you know, liable as well. Because as big of a crime it is to generate misinformation, spreading it is an equally big crime. So generation of misinformation might take some time to be combated through blockchain, but spreading of misinformation can be greatly curbed, is what I believe.
Okay, thank you. Next, we can move to yes. How can blockchain technology improve the security of in-game transactions and assets?
Yeah. So this is the same old story. Blockchain has a public ledger, right? Everything is public. You cannot pull anything over anyone, right? Now imagine your bank statements. Imagine my bank statements, but everything is public. I can look at your bank statements. You can look at my bank statements. If it's a public blockchain, if it's a private blockchain and I have access to it, then I can look at. Uh, so that is what makes it, secure. People think that blockchain creates a sense of anonymity, but at the same time, since everything is public, you cannot get away with anything as well. So that's what now people are starting to realize. The people who have been using it for ill intent purposes are now realizing the fact that the public nature of blockchain itself is the antidote to what they've been doing to achieve anonymity, right? So I think that is how any public ledger being used, any popular, like you can use ETH, anything being used, uh, the nature of blockchain itself ensures a sense of security and sense of benefit, right?
Great. Okay, thanks. Next is okay. Are there any restrictions on the technology or tools that we can use for the given problem statements for this hackathon in general?
No, feel free to not grow, feel free to go all out. Anything that leverages anything blockchain, anything Web3, and can like I'd like to answer two questions. And when I noticed another one is, do we need to submit a working MVP prototype as well? So I'll answer two questions in one here. So anything that helps you create something which is a minimum viable product as soon as possible, as rapidly as possible, is the best case scenario, right? Because I understand building things from scratch is more gratifying. It gives you a deeper sense of satisfaction. But building something which can get your point across, which can get your idea across, that is a rapidly developed prototype, a minimum viable product, will help you go much farther in the hackathon as opposed to building things from scratch. So any tool and technology you want to use, it's fine. Obviously, in this hackathon, the first round itself, any great idea is appreciated. But towards the end, you would be expected to come up with an MVP or a prototype as well. And as it was mentioned in the first slide, is the investor opportunity. So from my personal experience participating in hackathons, right, and being on the organizing side as well, what I've seen is that investors have a tendency to invest in things that are market ready or can easily be made market ready. So definitely having prototypes would be plus. And how it ties to this question is any tool or technology that can help you build that prototype faster and not having to do things from scratch is a big plus. So feel free to use anything you want, right?
Great, thank you. We can move on to the next question. Yes, how can Web3 technology be applied to create transparent and verifiable carbon credit trading systems?
So I think, yeah, I very briefly went over it. So I won't take too much time with this question. Again, the answer is same. Since the nature of blockchain itself is that it's a public ledger. So if carbon credits are managed on a public ledger, I believe it will help curb the, shady market that exists in which carbon credits are traded under the table, and companies end up buying, carbon credits from companies that are from countries where their carbon situation is not bad or it's good, relatively speaking. So yeah, that's all I'd like to add for this.
Okay, thank you. Next is how can Web3 technology be used to secure patient data and ensure privacy in health tech applications?
Yeah. So answering along the same lines, as I mentioned, right, it will give access to the patients with. I believe that till now, at least in India, not sure about other places, right, how the field of medicine works. But as far as India is concerned, uh, I don't think patients have a lot of control over their data. If I go to Apollo Hospital, my data is with Apollo Hospital. If I go to XYZ Hospital, my data is with XYZ Hospital. There's no centralized place where my data is, uh, at least not that I'm aware of. So I think that is the first place we can start with. Blockchain will help centralize everything. Now that everything is already on a ledger, I'm not saying it should be a public ledger. It can be a private ledger this time. Blockchain can be both public and private. So that will add another layer of security. And the biggest part is that obviously, if a system exists, people will try to break it, right? But what the beauty of blockchain is that anyone trying to tamper with it always ends up leaving a trail. The same is true with internet as well, but with internet, people have gotten better. And since blockchain is a new thing, and just by the nature of a blockchain works, I believe it's very hard to tamper with. You can tamper with it, but you tampering with it without leaving any traces, without leaving any trail behind, that I believe is very tough, which I believe also adds to a layer of safety.
Great. Thank you. So we'll have just one more question for today and then we'll close it. Okay. I'm looking to build a decentralized e-commerce delivery application which would not only be reliable and trust but also boost macroeconomy by decentralizing the profits. So can you guide me?
Great. So this is a very loaded question to answer because this involves knowing a lot of things and setting up, being very fluent in a lot of financial things. I myself just know of the terms that are required or that are used to set up businesses like this. Like for example, the very first step would be that just by having a blockchain ledger, you cannot actually manage all the finances. You will be needing escrow accounts wherein you have to keep the money, keep whatever tokens you are trading in for the X amount of time before everything is verified, all the transactions are verified. Then through that escrow, the account, the money or tokens will then be disbursed again strictly through blockchain. So even with the existence of something like when people think of an escrow account, they think there's an offshore account where black money is being held, but that's not the case. Escrow accounts are just accounts because what escrow accounts bring to table is, let's say I, as a business, right, I'm accepting money. I'm accepting 500 rupees, but out of that, I need to give 480 rupees to a shopkeeper. So I only ended up getting 20 rupees. But if 500 rupees show in my bank statement, ultimately I would have to pay tax on those 500 rupees, right? Or show how exactly I'm paying out. So this is where escrow accounts come in. If instead of accepting that money or whatever token in my personal account, I accept it or keep it in an escrow, and once the transaction is through, I split by whatever rule or whatever smart contract the money into in whatever ratio I want. That way it ensures that businesses run smoothly and no third party has any access to it. While the money is in my account, some other third party person can come and do anything they want, because a bank account is accessible to a lot of people, but an escrow account, by the nature of how it operates, is only accessible to the people who actually have access to it. Not saying an escrow is secure, but maybe it is perhaps one of the things that can help solve you to reliably distribute the profits and decentralize the profits, because that is just the one thing that comes to my mind very quickly. Obviously doing some research on how certain online markets operate would help as well, but I think escrow would be a good place to start.
Great. Thank you so much, Rohan. So, with this, we have come to an end. For all the participants and all the joinees here, if you still feel like that you still have some unanswered queries or something, you can reach out to us at innovatevision@hacktoskill.com. We'll quickly drop the email ID in the comment section as well, and we'll be happy to take your queries over there and get back to you. Again, thank you so much everyone for joining. Thank you so much, Rohan, for your time and guidance. I hope that the participants now have a better understanding of what they have to build and what this hackathon is all about. So, thank you for that. And
Always
yes,
a pleasure.
great.
Yeah.
Just one thing, that 21st September is the last date to register, as well as submit your idea or prototype, whatever you are moving forward with. So make sure that you to avoid disqualification or to miss out on this opportunity, you register as well as your team registers and you submit your prototypes before 21st of September. Great. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a good rest of the day. Thanks.
Thanks everyone.